Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Heroes Show. You got Corey and Nick with you here as always. And in today's video, we are talking about episode 2 of Marvel Studios' What If, which is now streaming on Disney Plus, which was entitled What If T'Challa Became a Star-Lord? I'm sad because Chadwick Boseman lent his voice to this and it was marvelous, and he's gone, and that's the worst thing ever. Other than that, Nick, how are you today?
Doing well. We got a great episode of What If, and
you're seeing Shang-Chi tonight.
Shang-Chi later tonight, so I'm
son of a
pretty
bitch.
Damn hyped. So, whew.
Yeah, that's cool. Nick got into an early screener here in town for Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. So you can be on the lookout. Follow us on social media. We don't ever talk about that, but we have a Twitter and an Instagram. It's just Real Heroes Show. And we'll be posting all non-spoiler reactions to that once Nick gets out of his showing. So definitely make sure to check those out if you want to get hyped for that movie, which is exclusively in theaters on September the 3rd. So there will be spoilers, though, in this episode about this What If episode that dropped this morning. Man, what a wild ride. Like,
very wild.
A lot of people online last week were like, yeah, the Peggy Carter thing was cool, but it was basically just like the plot of the first Avenger and flip-flop Peggy and Steve. Right. This was not that in any way, shape, or form.
This is much more developed and
I was a little nervous that it was going to be at the beginning, because it was basically just like, oh, they picked up the wrong kid, and T'Challa's doing the same mission that Peter Quill does in the beginning of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But boy, did it veer way off of that.
But awesome, though.
Man, I don't even know where to start other than the fact that we had good guy Thanos.
Yeah, I think I said last week, like, imagine if we see Thanos in this, because we pondered the question whether or not Josh Brolin will make a return. And boy, did we get Thanos. As soon as I saw Thanos out, and I saw Josh Brolin's name come up in the beginning, I'm like, wait a second, wait, hold on. Is he doing Thanos, or is he doing something else?
Right.
And as soon as I saw the purple guy, I was like, I wish I would have done a live reaction for that, because I was like, whoa. Shit. And it says early in the morning, I'm like half awake. I'm like, oh my God, what? Thanos? And
they turned the snap into like a joke.
Yeah, he's like
Captain Genocide.
Pretty sure that's genocide. And he's like, but it's efficient.
That was his comeback for everything. When
like, he's a gardener now.
I don't even know where they are at that bar. I think it's Contraxia, which is,
I think it looked like it
from Volume 2. But even later on, when they're all in Wakanda, he says the same thing. He's like, but it's efficient.
I mean, you even see and hear him do the
he does the snap. And everything.
So I mean, perfect. I love the fact that they did that.
Yep.
And it was great to see, like, the moment where I think it was Nebula is escaping with Cha-Cha. I love the fact that she gave T'Challa that name. That's so fucking cool. Sorry, pardon my French, but
no, you're good, brother.
Like it's
great.
And then she's like, she says to her adopted father, father, right? And I actually like the fact that they even say like she's adopted, but are you crazy? And he turns around and says, mad Titan Thanos. Like, I love that.
That was awesome. Did you get any romantic tension between Nebula and Cha-Cha, or was that just me?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I was like, Nebula and T'Challa. I mean,
they're flirting a little bit.
Yeah,
Interesting.
There were a couple of interesting things. No Gamora.
Not yet.
Not yet, but no Gamora in this part, which I thought was interesting. We did see Drax.
We did.
Yeah. And which was, I know the guy who did Drax also did Corvus Glaive.
Oh, really? Okay.
Fred Tachascori, I think his last name is.
Interesting.
But I think he did a close enough voice rendition of Dave Bautista. Obviously,
he's tough to nail.
It's hard to do a Dave Bautista voice
very
impression.
Voice. Yep.
But pretty good nonetheless. And everyone else that I have pulled up here is the same as they were in the movies. Like, the only person that wasn't was actually two people. No Chris Pratt and no Dave Bautista.
Right. But however, Peter Quill looked very different at the end of that episode when Ego shows up on Earth, and it's the same Dairy Queen that Ego took his mom to in Missouri at the beginning of Volume 2, which I thought was a very nice touch.
Very, very cool. Yeah.
And
same ship, like.
Yeah. And that I hope that, I don't know if that's an episode later this season with Ego and Peter Quill, or if that's a season 2 thing or whatever, but that is an interesting story that I'd like to see whatever this version of the multiverse has to throw at us, because that's like, now you've got an adult Peter Quill who has seen no action whatsoever. He's lived his entire life on Earth, doesn't know that he's half celestial. And his dad just shows up out of nowhere when he's working a dead end job, and he could just like whisk him off and be like, "You're half god." Like,
yeah.
Holy cow, that's wild stuff.
Yeah, because he, Jeffrey Wright, as the Watcher, says, but that's a story for another time.
For another time.
It's like time this season or time next year, perhaps. But
we shall see. But we've got 7 more this season.
We do.
I know that there's a lot to cover based off the trailer footage. But yeah, man, the cast, like you're mentioning, Sean Gunn was there as Kraglin. The guy that was Taserface was very clearly Taserface.
Yeah, Chris Sullivan.
Michael Rooker was Yondu. Benicio del Toro got to play a totally different version of the Collector compared to what we saw in the movies, which I thought was great.
Very different.
He was like Super Saiyan Collector.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we got to see a lot of Easter eggs in his collection.
Absolutely.
I think it was great the fact that we actually got a little bit more of a Howard the Duck. Voiced by Seth Green.
Yeah, that's great.
Which was great. We got what's his name, Paul, the dog.
Yes.
But
it was a different breed of dog than it is in the movie.
So again, the variant, which is well done and funny, but the arsenal that he pulls out, like you can clearly see like the shield, Mjolnir. He busts out Hela's like helmet and the and just starts using her what do they call it, the
it's something with an
death blades or something like that.
It's a sword that she conjures from like the netherworld or whatever.
Like necro sword or something like that. But
that's it.
But I mean, T'Challa's like, can't touch this, so so he finally takes one on the shoulder, but still, like, I like the fact that he and Yondu have this sort of it reminds me a little bit like Thor and Loki. And it was like what was it called, sticky hands,
sticky fingers or whatever, which is basically like get help,
right. And so he takes the Collector's little like arm piece off his forearm that he controls everything with, and then kind of
blasts him into a cage.
Does a little Peter Quill move from the movies and blasts him in. And but I like the fact that they kind of kept true a little bit to how Yondu lied to Quill in the movies and how Yondu lied to T'Challa in the show or this episode when he said that Wakanda is gone,
is destroyed.
And he the Wakandan ship is in the collection. And when T'Challa passes it, his necklace lights up, and I like the ode where he kind of puts like the necklace like between his fingers to almost like form a claw
and punch his way through.
So there's little like Easter egg like calls to the movies and to like the I'll say primary or original character that they would normally portray. But it was I think it was just very well done.
That scene with T'Chaka talking on the hologram and T'Challa listening to him, like they do a pretty good job in the movies in the prime timeline talking about like the relationship between the two of them, and like when T'Challa goes to the ancestral plane and they have like some deep conversations, like that's some pretty good stuff, and this just built on top of that, and it just like every one of those scenes just crushed me because it's like we're never gonna get that again, like all that good stuff, all of the interaction that Chadwick had with everybody in this episode, whether it was Rooker or Nebula or Thanos or anyone, like just his voice is so distinct and it has such a weight behind it, and like what a tremendous fucking loss.
It was one of those things, I think, when you like when you listen to how he portrays his role, but how not just in the movies, but even in this episode, like you can see the amount of effort and care and love that he put into his character, and you know, and it's like the way it's definitely felt, and of course like the end with the credits that come up, like our inspiration, our hero, and it's just like
I literally turned to my girlfriend and was like, "Why do they have to do that to us?"
Just like it was
sons of bitches, man.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, and I was like, well, yeah, that sucks, and
definitely brutal.
I mean, it's with the heart to say that, and it's like, I think if there's anything that is, you know, like any legendary character or person that passes away, like, you know, they're always with us, and I think for his sake, like he left us with a lot of inspirational and heroic stuff, you know, that is in the form of you know, a human from Earth, and you know, just a superhero. So it's kind of like what when they go back to Wakanda, and I was gonna say a cheesy family line, but you know, nothing breaks family. Family meets family. Like, so you've got the uniting of two family fronts, and which is really, I loved that little mingling scene there at the end, and
well, because it's like the opposite of what it normally is. It's normally the family that you're born with is in conflict with the family that you choose, but T'Challa was just so happy to be like, my family, this is the family that I made along the way. And like just the way he delivers that line is so sweet and tender, and it's just like thinking about how like Chad was like deathly ill when they recorded this stuff, because this was only like apparently months before he passed, and no one knew. Like that's crazy. Me is just that's out of this world. And I thought you know, one of the criticisms that I saw online for the first episode of the show was that some of the voice acting was a little bit clunky in its delivery, or like rushed or whatever, and I thought that Chadwick especially, it just felt like his live action character translated right into animation. Like he's so pitch point accurate with all of his lines. Him and Josh Brolin, like,
oh yeah,
holy shit, man. Josh Brolin has a future in voice acting if he wants it, because like I believed every minute that Thanos was on there that it was the same Thanos that we saw in live action. Like that, he just nailed the voice. There was one part where Proxima Midnight stabs him in the leg and he screams, and it sounds identical to Thanos' scream in Infinity War when they're doing the plan to put him under or whatever. And it's just, it's good stuff. They really thought this all out, and I thought this was, I love the first episode. I thought this was much better.
Oh God, yeah, like we both enjoyed and a lot of people that I spoke with enjoyed the first episode. But this, I had our buddy, I said, dude, ... this episode of What If, and he's like, good, and he's better than the first, and I said, oh yeah, epic. Like much better. And I mean, I'd even say just from what else gets included, right? Like they say, like Thanos is a gardener. You know, he knows of the, you know, he is like, you know, the Black Order is not to be trifled with, and it's like, well, yeah, because they used to work for you, and
they were called the children of Thanos.
Yeah, so I love the fact that we got to see them all in it, and how he went he went toe to toe in fisticuffs with Black Dwarf, or Cull Obsidian rather. And
boy, oh boy.
And when it was a 2v1, when Proxima comes in, and I was like, oh, the stab from behind to weaken him, you know, and then he got pounded hard with that hammer a couple times, but it's still not enough to actually kill Thanos.
He like ran in and just put his arm up, and like the blaster bolts were just like bouncing off of him, and I was like, how strong is this guy?
Well, then he catches like Cull like swings his hammer on him, and he just catches it.
You
know, like Thanos without the gauntlet is
still strong,
is still super strong, and it's because he's a Titan,
and he has a DD gene, which may come into play when the Eternals movie comes out, which apparently a new trailer is supposed to come out for that, I think tomorrow, which is
interesting.
We'll be excited to check that out. But I also thought it was funny that Proxima Midnight, they got Carrie Coon of The Leftovers fame to come back and do the voice again. I think she had more lines in this than she had in Infinity War.
She did. She did. Yep.
That kind of cracks me up, which is pretty neat stuff. It's an opportunity for them to expand this multiverse, bring new fresh takes to things, stuff that, you know, T'Challa to me is a better character than Peter Quill. So like no matter what role he's in, like if they would have done a live action T'Challa Star-Lord, like that might have been better than what we got. You know, like that's the whole cool thing about this what if is like,
yeah,
man, well, what if they did that? How neat would that have been if, you know, like if Thanos turns back to the good side and he's still around, you know, like we don't get that in the movies because he's evil incarnate and he has to get put down to stop a threat. So there's just so much they could do with this, and that's the most exciting thing for me.
For sure. And one of the interesting perspectives of especially in this episode and how Thanos was reverted from completing genocide was by a conversation, a debate, an argument that he had with T'Challa, and that really speaks with to who, you know, Black Panther or who, like how T'Challa becomes king of Wakanda, because he just has this focused and calm, like unifying outlook and perspective, you know, and he's like, you don't need to fight, you know. It's like I just imagine the conversation that he had with Thanos, like as Thanos tries to justify genocide. Well, it's like it's efficient, but it's good for the universe, it's good for the people. But the fact that, you know, T'Challa can simply just, you know, subdue his thoughts of it,
just with words,
just with words and having conversations, you know, like it just kind of shows you. And it's sort of like, again, like there's no need for conflict most of the time, you know, and that this is something that it kind of spoke about it, even though there is like action and battling in this episode.
Oh yeah, plenty
there
of
was there was means for it, you know, and I kind of wonder if we're going to see anything else with the terraforming. That was another thing.
Interesting. Nowhere it looked like it was turning into its own planet.
Yeah,
they were on their way out.
Had a little bit of a different look, different aesthetic when they were leaving.
And that could be something like, yeah, if we have a deficiency here that Thanos brought up, well, maybe we can fix that by growing more food or additional planets for people to live on, or, you know, whatever. Like T'Challa found another way where Thanos's idea was just kill everybody.
Yeah. And the thought dawned on me, because if they could potentially do something like this, and again, I'm going to pose a what if and a what if.
Okay.
A what ifception here, with their, you know, terraforming. Could this, and if this is, you know, obviously canon now, and even in another universe, but if these universes are colliding with one another and interjecting with one another now, perhaps this could be a way on how. Again, we kind of suspect mutants, the Fantastic Four, might be coming involved in this. Perhaps this is also how the Inhumans potentially come to be.
Maybe.
You know,
Marvel doesn't like that word.
Maybe not dubbed Inhumans, thanks to ABC completely botching some of my favorite characters, like Black Bolt.
Big time.
But yeah, I think it could be an interesting way, like, you know, to possibly see that. And again, like, there are plenty of episodes to come. I imagine we didn't see everything yet in their trailer, which I hope not. I mean, so. If they kept Thanos a secret, right? Like, and they're premiering on the second episode, you know, like,
I don't remember seeing him in any promotional material at all. I mean, like, I'm sure if you look there, he was probably on like a cast list somewhere, but there was nothing in the trailers or whatever, which the lay people don't look at any of that stuff. So I almost kind of wish they didn't list the cast before the episode, because I was like, oh, Josh Brolin's here, he's gonna be the cast. Okay. Oh, Benicio del Toro's here, he's gonna be the Collector. Like that kind of stuff, like, is a little weird to me. But
I think maybe a couple, like they could have done, you know, like Michael Rooker, Chadwick Boseman.
Right, you knew they were going to be in it because it was in the trailer, right?
Right, so like a couple
put them in the
people.
Credits, that's fine.
But at the end, do it that way, just for the sake of, you know, giving it and holding back that mystery before you watch the episode. It's like, you know,
it's like
I'm watching
Mandalorian. They didn't say at the beginning of Mandalorian, Rosario Dawson in the episode where Ahsoka shows up, or Katie Sackhoff in the episode where Bo-Katan happens, or Mark Hamill, God forbid, in the episode where Luke Skywalker shows up.
Could you imagine that? Like,
right, if there was an opening credits, and you're like, wait, I know that name.
Like, wait, so Luke's gonna be in this? Oh, okay. Like,
oh, okay. Now I know what's gonna happen. It ruins the big surprise. So,
and I think for the sake of Vic for this show, you know, wondering if, oh my God, what's his name? I know we will see Ultron at some point, so I wonder if James Spader
could come back,
come up and do a voice. But again, if I see his name come up, I want James Spader to come back. But if I see his name come up, I'm like, okay, well, he's doing Ultron, and I'll still be excited about that. But it's almost like you're ruining the overall like episode experience from having that reaction, like having that live reaction, right? Like, we don't know if Kang's gonna appear in Loki.
And imagine it was like a holy shit moment, right?
Exactly, right? You got like our live reaction from it, but you know, so it's
maybe it's best to just like close your eyes during the credits, and then like when Jeffrey Wright's voice stops, just reopen them, and you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I think the end of the credits says, and you ponder the question, what if? And they're like, okay, I can open my eyes now.
At that point, you can start watching it. So I might do that next time and just kind of test that theory out, and we'll see how it turns out.
Sounds good, man. Well, I'm gonna go 9 out of 10 on this one. Where are you?
9. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to give room for it to get better, but if it gets better, that's just a gift, because this was awesome and was a terrific half hour of television. So man, I feel like we probably didn't even cover everything, but it's already been like 25 minutes. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Guys, we would love to hear from you. Drop us a comment below. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Were you excited to see some of these characters show up? How'd you feel about the character interactions between people that, you know, may have not gotten the chance to meet or have interaction in the MCU prior to this? Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, we'd love to hear it. Let us know in the comments below. As always, if you'd like to support us, you could do so for free. All you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on those notifications, share the video with your friends. We're going to have a DC Titans review this week. Nick is going to share some thoughts on Shang-Chi without spoilers. There will be no spoilers in the video because it is an early screening, but we do want to get people hyped, so be on the lookout for that. Ted Lasso next week, another What If episode, more Titans, God knows what else, but stay tuned for it.
On the way.
So. Oh, and I have another 4K video that's already recorded for next week too. So definitely stay tuned for all of those things and so much more. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Wakanda forever.